or I'm gonna give the Yumi, or not the Yumi, the lane management for support guide. Right. So while I'm walking in, Yumi will make sense in a bit. So the first thing I wanted to get into is, even though we're not managing the waves ourselves necessarily, we do have influence on it, and if our ADC is not making the right choices, we can do the right thing. So, hold
who
on.
wants to be my best friend? Look, I know
Please
you're
tell me
already my best friend.
spawned. Yes. Okay. That'll come into play a little bit later. So,
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
how we play the lane is kind of dictated by how the wave is. Certain things are better based on how we're
30
shoving
seconds until
waves or
minions
how they're being
spawn.
frozen, and it enables us to do certain things better, and it forces us to play more respectfully. So, to show you how much influence a support can have with the
Minions have
wave,
spawned.
I chose to play Yumi. I'm just going to kind of show you how important like a Yumi auto attack is. I have no items and I'm a level 1 Yumi. So I'm going to let this crash because sometimes minions are wonky. Hopefully there's no practice tool
Look, float
bugs.
us that away. Yes!
Okay. I'm just going to kind of watch this wave. So minions, as you can kind of see, they're all these three or all these four are all attacking the same minion. Because of how the wave approaches. This one's up a little bit further, so it's closer to these two, so these two attack, and then these attack this for whatever reason. These are all going to zone up. Okay. No one has any weird advantages. Hell yeah. So this should just be spool pushing.
The
Okay, the dummy's
expert
leveling up.
huntress stalks the battlefield.
And as you can see, we have a slight advantage. We've got 4 casters versus 3 casters, and we got a little extra minion up here. We're gonna do this, we can do this. Melees have more HP, and well, the armor's basically the same, but they attack a little more often, but do a little less damage. These guys are important because they're ranged, and they're less RNG and focused. Obviously, cannon minions are kind of important, but all these range minions can stay healthy, which lets them slow push, which is letting our wave slow push, right? And this is just like a couple of Yumi auto attacks, and it's turning into this big wave. So, like, if our laner is trying to shove the wave or whatnot, we do have an impact as a support. Like, this was all us. There's no other laners, we have nothing else to blame. Right. So this is how important it is. Okay, so a couple of things about why waves are important while this kind of resets. So why waves are so important is it gives us a vision line, because obviously we can see where our minions are, and this lets us basically see this whole lane, but we don't have the wave over here, so we can't see all of mid lane, and we can't see all of top lane. But we know that they're not in here, maybe we can see them walk into these bushes, so we kind of know they're here implicitly, and it allows us, if we have some wards here, or maybe we even get one up here, right, or we can get vision on the dragon. It helps establish a vision line, and we can extend our vision line to keep track of the jungler so we can play safer, etc. So hopefully our laner doesn't die, because ADCs love dying. Am I right? It also gives us timers, so like, hell yeah. So this wave that's crashing here, if it was up here, if there's like an enemy Talon or Zed or whatnot, they would be forced to clear this, but our Zed or Talon could roam bot or top, and they could potentially get a kill. Or, like, it's going to take a while for all these minions to die, so we can get a nice back. It's also important to think, all these are attacking the tower, and they're not going to be attacking these, so these minions are going to be staying healthy, versus these are all going to die. So, if both laners are here, one's going to have to attack these, well, the other one can poke the other one out. Because if the laner choose to fight, he's losing gold from the minions. So like it's HP for gold, and like HP is temporary. We can back and just heal it all up. Gold is forever, so to speak. They'll still get the XP and whatnot. Boop 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 boop. There we go. They'll still get the XP and everything, but you won't get the gold. So now they have to hit the wave and we're hitting them. And as they lose HP, that means they're losing gold and XP, so they have to play safe and try and figure out how to soak it. And it's just a bad scenario. Like, imagine, like, I'm a Lux right here, and you're trying to last hit. I can hit an E. Like, E's pretty big, and you get chunked. You just keep getting chunked and chunked and chunked, and eventually you can't hit the wave, and you're gonna lose a lot of gold and XP because now you can't walk up to the wave. All of because of wave management. Like, so that is why it's super important. So I'm going to restart the game. Okay, we're gonna go here. I'm not gonna buy a support item. I'm going to go to the whatever.
All right, which one of you's got great aim and is good at chin
Okay,
scratches?
so the first thing we're gonna talk about is a fast push. And fast pushing is kind of like everyone's default.
Minions have spawned.
Keep an eye out for red dot, book. It's gotta be here somewhere.
And basically, it is dump all your damage as fast as possible. So this is going to be a little difficult with Yumi. Because I don't have a lot of AD.
You're in bite range. Yeah.
And obviously, you don't want to drop minions. Hell yeah.
Where's my fishy,
Okay, maybe I celebrated too soon.
My dishy dish.
We don't have a lot of AoE abilities, but using your AoE abilities on the wave can be really helpful. Alright, so that's a fast push. And fast pushing has some advantages. So if you need to like get the wave under now, like perhaps you're expecting an enemy gank and you don't want to be like right here, because they can, you know, just blast cone over, walk down, or if they're a Kane, they can walk over through the wall and kill you, or if there's a Zac, they can just walk through, or they can walk behind here, or maybe they snuck up in a bush through here and now they're gonna kill you, or like or whatnot. Or you could be low in resources and you just have to back or something, right? Because you can't stay here any longer, or you have a lot of gold and you just kind of need to buy your shit. Okay. Now there's a couple of advantages to fast pushing. It's obviously sooner, but you have a small timer. Like the wave dies relatively fast, so if you wanted to use that, because maybe you're healthy, you just backed and whatnot, so you can maybe just like walk, put your reward down, and you'd have to walk back because it's like 30 seconds for the wave to walk. So that's the timer you have. It's not very long and whatnot. If you're constantly fast pushing, I'm constantly going to be like in this position over here. So you are a little bit overextended, and it can be easier to farm under tower. So you don't necessarily always want to fast push. It can be really bad to fast push into lanes that outscale. So like Lucian versus like a Vayne, because Lucian cannot bully or kill Vayne under tower early on. It's really difficult to do that, and Vayne will just get stronger. Like, we've all seen Vayne get out of control. So in scenarios like that, it's not necessarily the best to do. It's also really bad versus like Blitzcrank because of the famous ah ha ha ha, I pulled you under tower because you stepped like 0.5 seconds. If the enemy's at their tower and you're over here,
Destroyers.
if you get engaged on, you have to walk all the way. You have to keep walking all the way. We're still walking here to safety. That took a while. So that, as the people being engaged on, it's really bad. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. It is a little risque. So a slow push. Okay. This wave is kind of going to slow push. It's like a fast push, but you build up a wave or two before you do so. So like this one won't quite crash, but after this one, I think it will, because there's just going to be so many minions that it would be very hard for it not to. There's a little bit of minion RNG. Cannon minions are, I don't know, they run spaghetti code, okay? Yes, yeah. See, this one crashes, and because there's so many more minions over here, we get to extend some of the advantages of a short push. The timer's bigger, so we're allowed to do more. We don't lose so many minions when we do dragon. All of a sudden, uh, we can take. It takes more than 30 seconds for it to clear, so we can back, buy our items, and come back and lose very few minions. We'll lose like 1 or 2 minions, and it allows us to do better dives because the wave's just not going to delete itself. It's going to take time, so we're allowed to like walk up and like auto the enemy Ezreal or something as Nautilus, and now we can't move, and our Q's guaranteed. And even though we're taking aggro, our jungler's there, and our ADC is just going to blow them up, and we can walk away, and we can trade some turret shots if we need to, and juggle behind it for a good dive. It also, and this is not going to be evident because of how minions do. This is why I put a dummy here last time and forgot to. If you don't know, it's calculated. The minions get a buff if you're super far ahead of your enemies. So they do an extra 50% bonus damage to minions and take reduced damage from minions. So like it's kind of just gonna permanently shove up because of the damage difference. Level 0 minions versus level 5, because I'm level 5 and there's no enemy, so they have a huge advantage. Now I'm level 6. Yeah. Okay, the thing didn't go up. I don't know the exact calculation for it. But once you crash a wave, because all the damage goes into the tower and not into the enemy minion wave, theirs will be bigger, and it's going to slowly push back and back. And then once this gets big, you're allowed to freeze. So I'm going to restart the game again.
Cats make great companions.
So you're allowed to just kind of hold a position over here. And what you want is like 4 caster minions right over here. And because, does it give tower ranges? Yeah, it does. So if you can hold like 4 caster minions on your side of the tower, like right about here, the wave should never crash. And you want to make sure you're standing melee range next to it, otherwise it'll just walk into tower range and it'll take a tower shot. And that means the freeze goes away because you no longer have the minion advantage you wanted. Although you'll never freeze it in the middle, it's about 1 to freeze here, which it's whatever. It's just not going to push very fast because you can just hit the wave. And it's like 2 or 3 over here, but right around here is 4. And you can artificially extend you can artificially affect the wave by using a health. Oh, we're gonna restart. You can artificially extend freezes. Okay.
Minions have spawned.
Where's my fishy, fishy
Okay.
fish for my dishy, dishy dish. Yeah!
Like, see how we pulled that minion all the way over? And now the wave, rather than settling here in its neutral state, it's already here. And because the minions are even here, that means the wave is going to arrive earlier. This wave will arrive earlier to reinforce it, so it's going to do damage sooner. Kind of fucked it up with my positioning, which means it should slow push back over
I
here.
won't lose you, Book.
Although I did do some auto attacks by accident. And there's the buff, so it's not actually going to happen.
Get ready to face the mighty Yumi. Oh, and Book. If I didn't have to protect Book, I'd just be a normal magical cat floating around Bandle City. Okay, napping around Bandle City.
Hopefully this distorts it. Nope, it does not fix it. It permanently keeps the XP, but it's just super scuffed. It's whatever. So, the advantage of a freeze is it's harder for you to die. So if you have an advantage, you can just freeze, and it's hard for you to, like, int. Right?
Where's my fish?
So it's hard for you to int, but it's not something you always want to do. It can be powerful to deny, and it keeps you safe and whatnot, but freezing here when, like, dragon's up can be really bad because now you can't rotate, but the enemy can. The enemy can the enemy Nautilus might just be like, fuck it, I can't do anything, and just go mid. And your enemy mid later like Mike Boy, bot diff, sup diff, trolls, and whatnot. So it's important to think, should we be freezing or should we not? If you should be freezing, just don't hit the wave. If you have the little orbs, just last hit. And if you don't know what to last hit, that means you need to practice last hitting with whatever champion you're doing. And the last thing you kind of want to think about is pushing power. Obviously, as Yumi, I do not have a lot of pushing power. Wait, I did it. Like, I do jack shit for damage. But if I had this, my pushing power obviously is a little bit better. I don't have an ally.
Like a tiger.
Well, hopefully you get the idea. The pushing power, the faster I can push, like with someone, the better. Ooh. That's gonna screw stuff up. So like Sivir Q, Caitlyn Q, Kaisa's kind of depending where she's at. Callista, E, Twitch, E, W/E, AoE abilities, how much, like, if the enemy brand support, things like that, obviously have more shoving power, so they can shove this back faster, so you have a smaller timer. And it helps. You have to kind of, like, calculate how fast they're going to do stuff, and it's just, I can give you, like, rules or how long it'll go, but in the end, it's just kind of how your opponents play it out, so you kind of just want to, like, fuck around and find out. Just try it, see what happens, and you'll get an idea. You can just kind of guess, and you'll be kind of right. So that is the little wave control guide that I can give. I hope this was helpful. Take care.